Are the Georgia Bulldogs the number one team in the country? Like, are they the best team? I don't know if they're number one. They probably will not be. I'm doing this before the rankings come out noon on Tuesday after Labor Day. Now, but we've got a lot of data now. Everybody in college football has played, and I got a chance to watch everybody hard except Florida. I'm not through that one quite yet either. That are, you consider teams who had big wins or, top five teams. We saw everybody, and some teams looked good. A lot of people didn't. And when you think about where Georgia's at, they put up the best performance of the weekend. That does not necessarily mean that you are the best team. But when you take a look at the rankings, and I typically go by AP until the playoff comes out. Look, Alabama is number one. It doesn't look like they should be replaced for any reason. Georgia or Alabama, and it's hard to say which one. One of those two is the best team in the country after week one, and they don't give out trophies for that. But hey, it's still talking season. A little bit longer. Well, it's always talking season here on YouTube, that's for sure. But anyway, when you look at the top 10, you got Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia all winning. Clemson won. Notre Dame with a loss. Texas A&M did not look great. Utah lost. Michigan won decisively. Oklahoma and Baylor did as well. Oregon with a lopsided loss. So the top 10 is going to be different. I think that if you want, I'll be curious to see the splits in the polling this week. Ohio State last week got 6 first place votes. I think Georgia will get about 15 this week. Now, I'm saying this now. I release these at 12. We'll see. In terms of who the best team in the country is, I'm not ready to really say that it's Georgia. I'm not sure I'm ready to say it's Alabama. I mean, when you watch them, they were dominant. There were parts of both teams that were, they've still got a little bit of ways to go. Um, Alabama's defense looks superb. Georgia's offense looks superb. Uh, Georgia's defense, held Oregon to 3 points. Alabama scored 50 plus on offense. But if we're ranking those four, Georgia's offense and Alabama's defense is going to come above the opposite. The Georgia defense is playing well, but it's not playing as well as Georgia's offense. Alabama's offense is playing well. It doesn't seem like they're playing as well as Alabama's defense. So, with that word salad, I would still go Alabama at one for now. They were not tested. Georgia was not tested, but for now, let's stick with Alabama as the best team in college football. Um, because you have to choose someone, and we're going to choose them for now. Um, I reserve the right to change that on Sunday, okay? Because I think Texas is an introduction to college football for Alabama. They did not really get that from Utah State this week. Just going, the rest of the top 10, I don't know who is close to Georgia and Alabama right now. When you watch the Notre Dame Ohio State game, that was a real fight. Um, it is hard to reconcile that in a home game where you're favored by 3 scores, 2.5 scores, you really struggle to score when you've got the explosive playmakers that Ohio State's got. It is possible that Notre Dame has an all world defense. They typically have a pretty good defense. Ohio State scored a lot of points on a lot of people last year. So something's not quite right there. Notre Dame, they lost, and that's that. Now they got to keep it perfect. They need USC and Clemson to be really good. Clemson's not really good. So that's not going to work there. They did win. Texas A&M and Clemson both were very blah. I think with A&M, they've got App State. I think this week. This is just going off of very quick memory, and then Miami, a team they could lose to. So I was not impressed in any way with A&M. I thought Arkansas's win over Cincinnati was a much more quality performance. Utah deserves to fall. How far? I don't know. I thought they'd beat the Gators. They did not. Florida should be close to the top 10. I don't know that they should be in there, but at the end of the day, none of these teams are like the two people I'm about to put on the screen. If you've not seen DAWGSTRUCTION yet, make sure you're picking it up. It is not available in bookstores. It is only available down below and at Red Zone. Now, Red Zone's running out of copies, but I would encourage you to go there before they run out. In Athens this week, I don't have my Red Zone stuff for some reason. It's on Clayton Street, downtown in Athens. Here's the Red Zone stuff. Clayton Street, downtown in Athens. If you're at the Arch, go north, take a left on Clayton past Mrs. Harry's place, and you'll be there where the flags are. You should be there this weekend. It's the first home weekend. I expect it to be slammed, but they got so much stuff. It's much easier than going to the bookstore. It's much easier than going to the bookstore. And honestly, the stuff's just as good, if not better, than the bookstore. And it's just not a hassle to get in and out of there. Anyway, pick up the book below. But when you look at this, look, I would rank Michigan fourth. I would go Ohio State, Georgia. I would go Alabama, Georgia, 1 or 2, and then I would say Ohio State's your 3. I thought Michigan looked the fourth best. I'm not sure. Like, everybody saw Clemson play. Not a lot of people saw Texas A&M, so I don't think Texas A&M will fall. Clemson could fall with a 41-0 win. And anybody that watched that game, I'm about to hammer Clemson. They got problems, man. That is not simply a DJ Uiagalelei problem. That is an offensive line problem. That was just not. If you can't run on Georgia Tech, that's not the quarterback's fault exclusively. They do not have people that scare you. The offensive line is bad. And so why does that matter? Why does Clemson, Clemson should lose a game or 2 or as many as 4 this year. Why does them losing matter? Well, that means someone else from the ACC that we're not used to would have to go undefeated to get into the college football playoff. It also severely hurts Notre Dame at this stage. Notre Dame needs an undefeated and good Clemson. They still have the undefeated. Maybe Clemson will get this figured out and pointed in the right direction. They do not look good. You know who else does not look good? LSU, Florida State. That game was one of the worst football games I've seen played in a long time. Not Georgia Tech and Clemson was a real, coming down the stretch though with LSU and Florida State. Those 4 teams are not near where they need to be. And with Tech, I understand it. They're just not good. The other 3 don't really have an excuse. I mean, LSU, first-year coach, okay. The Noles to you know what? So many people talk about that game. There's no reason for me to talk about it. If you are a business looking to reach hundreds of thousands of Georgia fans each month, dean@dawgpost.com is my email. We can deliver your message and get these folks to your brand or to your business, dean@dawgpost.com. But I thought the weekend was abnormally entertaining. I thought that Tennessee looked good. The Gators looked good. Did not watch a ton of Kentucky. Arkansas looked good. What is also kind of surprising after a while is that how can the SEC be this much better than everybody else all of the time? I mean, it is, hard to get that those two, that league is that much better than everybody else. I did not mention Oklahoma. I should have. Listen, Oklahoma certainly could be up there in a major way too. I thought that Oklahoma, who I only watched briefly, looks like they're really scoring points again. I thought that it was a good showing for the Sooners, but this is really right now a Georgia-Alabama fight. Stop me if you've heard that before. I want to see where Ohio State goes. I mean, they played a top 5 team. They weren't playing Georgia Tech. Clemson has too far to travel. I mean, just look, being straight up, like putting the new kid in, that's great. But if you don't, they've had an offensive line problem since 2020. and that's 3 years now. So, Trevor didn't win it his last year. He didn't win it his last year because they were getting their skulls crushed by, you know, uh, Ohio State. They're not in the same universe with the big guys. Their defense is legit, although I'm not sure it's as legit as maybe people think. So, with all that said, Oklahoma usually loses a game. All right. If Clemson's not going to pull up the ACC banner, I don't trust NC State to. I sure don't trust Florida State. Could it be Miami? Okay. I think with that win, with the way things have settled out so far, Georgia and Bama have a game to play with. It seems like to me, for now. But let's just see where this goes. Alabama does not look like they're going to have an issue with Texas A&M. Um, I would be very concerned if I'm Texas A&M about the Miami game. They should win against Appalachian State. They should win against Miami, but I'd be very concerned about that game. It's a very exciting time. It's the home game. It's the first time there's been a home game since Georgia won the national championship. Stay on the lookout for DAWGSTRUCTION. You can get the link down below. You can get the actual copy in your hand at Red Zone. If you go to Red Zone, you can still pick up the magazine. It comes for free. So perhaps you go there. But I'm telling you right now, they're selling books pretty quick too. So get over to Red Zone as fast as you can. Get there Friday.